Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. Parchat TV has not been on for like months on end. You know what? We have been very, very busy doing absolutely zero, nothing, zero, zero. However, today we've got the beautiful, the gorgeous, sexy Bridget. She is the winner of Miss Uganda UK 2016 to 2017. We just want to remind people it's Miss Uganda UK. Yeah? Don't get it confused. Yeah, in London or UK. Well, it's always held in London anyway. Yeah, she's a current crowned queen. We're going to be talking to her about her journey. We know what's been going on in her life, and we shall see you in a minute.
Miss Uganda UK 2016-17.
Goes to contestant number
8.
contestant number 8, everyone.
Welcome back to Parchat TV. We are talking to the very beautiful, sexy. I'm talking about really hot. As in, I was sweating a minute ago. We had to put the fan on, and she goes by the name of Bridget Katungi. She's the current reigning queen of Miss Uganda UK, 2016 to 17, and yeah. The your journey so far. Could you just give us a little insight of what the experience has been as a Miss Uganda?
I've really enjoyed it. I think for me personally, like I said, a few years ago would have never imagined myself as a beauty queen, whilst many other people would have probably seen this in the woodworks. Like I said, I didn't necessarily see myself in the same way, and so every day just realising that, you know what, actually, I am beauty queen, and I'm actually doing this and I'm doing it well, and it's nice to actually see how far I've come. So this for me has been like a benchmark to show how far I've come in my own personal journey of self-development, self-confidence, self-worth, and I've really enjoyed just the process of meeting different people. So many young women message me in my inbox and tell me how much I've inspired them to compete. And there was a young girl who messaged me about having watched me, and now she's inspired to compete in Miss Uganda North America, I believe. So that's incredible.
Oh, fantastic. As a beauty queen right now, what has been your biggest challenges, as in, since you won it, what has been something that challenged you, like, what is it?
I think for me, it's been maybe just juggling work and the appearances and commitments that have come up. I mean, it's not so bad now, but initially, definitely just sometimes I'd finish a night shift and wake up, and I have an appearance that evening. So it's been challenging in that sense, just managing to juggle, both work and the title and everything that comes with it. But nothing in life comes easy, and I'm enjoying the experience so far, so I just have to take that on the chin and keep pushing on. So yeah, I'd say that's probably been the most challenging.
But what has been the fun side of being the beauty queen?
I'd definitely say I've been exposed to so many different types of people, different crowds, during just my process of networking. I've been to House of Parliament here, and I managed to put on my own fundraiser and had quite a few people that came just before I went to Uganda. And then I'd probably say the highlight was going to Uganda and meeting the young children out there and being able to speak and get personal with them. I'm a big kid at heart, believe it or not, so that I felt like I was one with them, and it was just amazing to see how they received me and the love that I got out there. I was genuinely overwhelmed, so that's been my highlight.
You get from the beauty pageant?
Well, like I said, the sweet things would be subjective to the individual. So for me, being a people person, this platform has exposed me to all types of different people. And I feel like nowadays it's not really necessarily about monetary gain all the time. It's, about networking, because a lot of the times it's about who you know. So I've been in a position to meet different people. And so moving forward in future, having those connections can be really beneficial to future projects that I have. And again, like I said, for me, going back to Uganda, I've always wanted to do some charity work out there. So meeting the children, meeting families and different people, and being able to speak about something that, I've become really passionate about was my highlight. So that is the sweet thing.
This is to do with your, you've been to Uganda under the Miss Uganda UK to campaign for child sacrifice. Did you meet any child who had been abducted, or did you come across any real life examples or experiences?
So in a few of the schools that we went to, because we did enroll an art and writing challenge, some of the children that decided to do essays for the challenge shared some personal experiences of their siblings having been abducted, or them having found their friends' corpses with no head. So as much as we didn't meet victims themselves, we met victims of, just by witnessing such horrific, just such a horrific practice. So I think for us, when we went out there, it was really emotional. Well, for me personally, it was really emotional. I think just hearing their experiences. These are young children who have been exposed to some gruesome images that I can't even fathom, and you can see the pain. Most of them couldn't express themselves without breaking down. Some of them had, there was a young boy as young as, I think he was 4, whose older brother had been kidnapped and sacrificed. There was some young girls who'd shared their stories. So it's real, and I think even for me, being on the ground and hearing their experiences just brought it home, how this is a reality for them, and they live in a level of fear that no child should have to live in. You should be able to play within your compound and not fear having to be abducted by a stranger or even someone you know. So yeah, we did meet them, and it was difficult. It was really difficult.
Okay, we understand that one. What is the Ugandan government doing? Are they assisting you guys? Are they? Is there a part at which they're playing in this role?
Excuse me. So I believe that they have a division within the police force that is specifically targeted towards fighting child sacrifice. I'm not sure how proactive they are at the moment, but I think that more can be done, if I'm totally honest with you. And I think even when you speak to the people there, they would agree that more should be done to really ensure children's rights are maintained, that they're not, being killed for ritual purposes. And, it's their right to live, it's their right to be able to play and not fear being killed. So there's a lot more to be done, to be honest with you. And I think even though I'm handing the crown over, I do want to stay connected in this campaign and still do some more to promote the awareness and hopefully tackle it and see that it ends. Should I say see that it ends?
We're nearly finished our risk. I just want to go back on this point. Just want to keep to that point because it's so important, since you're really, really championing it. We want to make sure it's actually getting through to people. Are people recognizing it? Because sometimes people, especially the Ugandan community, back home, people don't like talking about this stuff, and they keep it, under wraps, and it's really going on, but no one's going to come out and say. Are people actually discussing it? Because you're going into the schools, you're speaking to children, and however, is this information then, is it going back to the parents? what are you receiving on the ground in terms of the information being received away from the schools?
Yeah, I mean, luckily for us, even though we went to schools, we were able to take it beyond and take it to some of the communities. So when we were in Masaka, we managed to walk around, we were putting our flyers up, to promote what we were doing. And we managed to speak to some of the families and local shopkeepers that were there and engage them and find out, what their experience is, what they know. And people are aware that it happens. I think, if I'm totally honest, there's a sense of fear, but also lack of control. I think because the government aren't as proactive in really tackling it, the people themselves probably feel like there's not much that they can do to stop it, especially within areas that is quite prevalent, so Mokono, Masaka.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you believe that a lot of this is to do with, financial situations, because there's a lot of poverty, let's just be honest, there's a lot of poverty there, and people are in such desperate states, in desperate situations where they have to, because some people might give their children away to actually do it intentionally. Do you believe that poverty is like one of the main driving factors, and people actually know what's happening and they're doing it intentionally?
100%, because there's different scenarios in which this happens. So obviously you have people that are making money off of this practice and abducting children and taking them to witch doctors, and then you have family members out of their sheer desperation who believe that this practice brings riches, which cannot be proved, find that this is their only option, which is really, really sad that a life can be taken over money, over riches and whatever needs that they need. So there is a level of ignorance there that needs to be, they need to be educated, they need to be informed. And so I think that there's more work that needs to be done, especially in those villages, where information is hard to, it's hard to get through. So it needs to be people on the ground going there, going into the local communities and doing a lot more to work with them to try and dispel this myth, because no more children need to be dying over this horrific practice, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, the journey from when you joined and you decided to do it, how has it been, and how has it been, that journey leading you to the actual competition itself?
Well, I'm a pediatric nurse by profession, and I've been doing that for the last, this will be my 4th year. And so during I'd say early 2015 to early 2016, there was a lot of stress at work, and then I also had a lot of personal battles with family and relationships, so to speak. And so, I went through depression and anxiety, and it got really bad to a point that I couldn't work anymore. And so I was signed off for the early part of 2016. And during that period, I came to a place where I really decided that enough is enough. I've been down in the dumps for too long, and, I finally want to do something about this. And so I started my journey to overcoming depression and really taking care of my health holistically and eating right, changing my exercise routine, and just making sure that I was focusing on getting myself out of that dark place. And so that was pretty much, April 2016, right up until I'd say like August 2016. And then I happened to meet Miss Uganda UK, September, I think it was about that time.
People don't realize the pressures, or they don't put a situation of a life experience in front of the face of the person who's winning. They just look at the girls or the models doing their thing, and they're like, they're not going through what I'm going through. You've mentioned going through depression. Now, what has kept you from going back into depression, and what has been your greatest motivation?
Well, what's kept me from going back into depression? I definitely say my faith. I'm a believer in Christ. I believe that he paid the price for me, and so I've given my life to him, and I believe that he actually really has put me on this journey of healing and brought me to this place thus far. And I've only just gone from greater heights to greater heights, and that's not down to, I don't take any credit for that. That is simply just who he is and the fact that he loves me and has great plans for me. So I definitely say my faith has been my anchor since, and that was something that I lost during my battle with depression. You know, I wasn't really strong in my faith, and ever since having overcoming that, that's been something that I've really grounded myself in and returned back to as my foundation. So faith, 100%, and my greatest motivation really is leaving a legacy. I think when you've been through so much and you've been held back, you've held yourself back.
Some people look and say, you are so young, how can we go can I just ask, remember asking how old you are?
25.
So, say, you're so young, you're going through all this. I mean, it shouldn't be happening to someone like, what? Why is it?
But I feel like that's a misconception that people have, that, they judge someone by their outer appearance and think that they can't go through things, or they think they have it easier. When that couldn't be any more further from the truth. So for me, sharing and being open and candid about some of the things I've had to overcome just brings back that sense of humanity, that we all go through things. Do you know what I mean? And there's no one that is exempt from battling with their own personal issues. So just being someone who's now of influence and has a platform, I think it's really, really important for me to be as honest as possible, because I don't want people to get clouded by the beauty and think that there isn't substance and something behind that.
What are the things you could promote Ugandan? You can promote Uganda to Ugandans both back home and here. First of all, back home.
In regards to promoting Uganda, yeah?
Yeah.
So I guess for those that live here in the UK, you see, I have conversations with a lot of friends, and Ugandans particularly, and they would go back home and they don't get to explore all that Uganda has to offer. Now, I always make it a point to make sure that I try and experience something new every time I go. This year I managed to go to Queen Elizabeth Game Park, Mwea Safari Lodge, stayed there for the weekend, and oh my goodness, listen, the greenery, the scenery, just the fresh air, the animals, you don't get that here, so I definitely say going to a safari park, and there's quite a number of them, but obviously being that I've only been to Mwea thus far, I definitely say check out Queen Elizabeth Game Park. I'd also say, just go to the falls, Murchison Falls, the lake, Victoria. There's just so much beauty in the nature of Uganda, and so I definitely say that's a highlight. And then food. Can't beat food. There's just so many places for you to go and enjoy some good home food, like matoke, binyeba. And then I'd say also the nightlife. There's nice bars, places you can hang out. Generally people in Uganda are so laid back and chilled and welcoming and friendly. And so for those who haven't been, a lot of my friends that have gone for the first time that aren't even Ugandan, make it a point to mention how much the hospitality in Uganda is just, on point. So there's a lot to offer in Uganda. You have to check it out. Have I done well?
As a beauty queen yourself, I mean, she's quite pretty, we can't deny that. But in terms of like the rest of the appearance, because, you've got girls who are got big bums or big hips and stuff like that. Does Miss Uganda challenge that typical appearance? You've got to be really skinny or really tall or whatever to fit the category of becoming a beauty queen for Miss Uganda?
Not at all. As far as I'm aware, there are no requirements, so to speak, in terms of physical appearance. You can be short, tall, voluptuous, slim. There's no discrimination, and that's something I appreciate about this beauty pageant, because I think the most important thing that they focus on is really the self-development within, and making sure women, the young girls that compete and young women are confident and present themselves with confidence and esteem. And so really and truly, it's everyone is welcome to join. It's just a matter of believing that you can do it.
Do you have to say to young ladies out there who are struggling with maybe their I don't know, personal issues like health, wealth, financial, or partner problems, or anyone who wants to maybe join the beauty pageant and they're like, you know what, I can't do it because of ABC. What word do you have for them?
For anyone who's going through a difficult patch in life, whether that's health-wise, financial, etc., I definitely say make sure that you have someone you can speak to, that you trust, that you can share that load with. I think something that I had to learn is that, you know, it's not the whole world on my shoulder that I need to carry. There are people around me that love and support me, that want to help if I need to, if I need it. So I think so many people suffer in silence, and in order for you to receive help and get out of that place, sometimes it is a matter of you speaking out. So I definitely say speak to someone that you can trust, that will be a support to you in whatever way possible. And also, for someone who is thinking about competing for Uganda, I mean, they've started the registration process, so they've selected their girls. So maybe my advice should be for the girls that have started the process.
Okay, yeah.
Which I met a few of them a few weeks ago. So to the ladies, I definitely say enjoy the process. The process is just as important as the goal, you know, maybe even more so, because you're going to learn so much about yourself, you're going to be stretched, you're going to be challenged, and ultimately, regardless of who wins, you're all a winner. You're all going to come out of this with more tools under your belt than you would have gone into it. So I'd say enjoy the process, utilize each other, support one another. I was blessed to be able to compete with girls who I still communicate with now. We've really formed, you know, like a sisterhood. So yeah, definitely get to know each other and build a bond with each other. It makes it so much more of a pleasurable experience. I think that'd be my advice.
What's the future for you?
Well, at the moment, I mean, I'm handing the crown over in September, so I haven't got much time left, but I would like to do something here for my young women. So I'd like to put on a workshop in the summer to promote self-love, you know, get young women in touch with themselves and appreciating themselves and knowing who they are. I think that's something that we need to start from young, so that's going to be something I'm planning at the moment in the woodwork, so look out for that, young women. And in future, I mean later on this year, there's some projects that I'm a part of to promote tourism, so I'll do a better job next time when we interview again. So yeah, there's a couple of different things coming up that I will be sharing more of, so yeah. Okay. Well, thank you to everyone that has supported me as Miss Uganda UK thus far, and everyone that's contributed to the campaign financially or just with your words of encouragement. I genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate all the young girls that have messaged me and shown me love. And of course, my parents that have supported me throughout this whole journey. I have to shout them out and just thank them abundantly. So yeah, thank you. And the Miss Uganda Team Jubilee campaign, I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm so grateful. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Culture TV.
Fantastic.